Hey there, and welcome to Holmes Yoga. Today's practice is going to be focusing on an arm balance called Bakasana or crow pose. And I'm really excited to be working on this with you because, so I have two kids. My son is 5, my daughter's 18 months. And before I had my first, I was super into the arm balance game. I loved arm balances. I loved inversions. I felt like I was really making some headway in my practice with them. And I bounced back pretty quickly after the first pregnancy, but the second one has really done a number on me, and it's been like a long road of rehab and regaining strength through my core. So I'm really excited to offer this practice, and crow pose is it's the foundational arm balance, right? So we do a lot of weight bearings on our hands in the practice of yoga. And in order to do some of the other fancier arm balances, or to be able to do arm balance transitions where you're going from one arm balance into another, you really do have to have some strength and balance and control in crow pose first. Now, will your quality of life be like drastically better because you can do crow pose? Probably not. Will you possibly feel some more strength and connection through your core and a sense of accomplishment? Maybe. So that's what I'm hoping we can get to today. And let's hop onto our mats. The recommended props for today are going to be a block. If you don't have a block, you can use something block-ish, like a couple of big books and a blanket or a couple of folded up beach towels. And that is more for psychological support. You'll see when we get to there. So you can just, have your props handy at the top of your mat. And then come to stand. We're going to start standing and get some grounding through the legs. And I'd like for you to just right away squeeze your feet towards each other so you get this connection to the inner thighs, the adductors, the muscles on the insides of the legs. And as you inhale, reach the arms overhead. And as you exhale, sit back into your chair pose. And then inhale, push the floor away, stand tall, and exhale, lower the arms down. So we'll just do that a couple more times. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, squatting back. Inhale, standing tall. Exhale, lower down. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, squat back. And stay. Another breath here. We're going to come all the way down to sit. If you'd like to use your hands to get to the floor, no problem. Go ahead and take your block. And you can either, depending on the width of your pelvis, have it at the second width or the skinniest way between the upper inner thighs. And for a moment, flex your feet so your heels are on the floor and drag your heels towards your sitting bones. So that's going to help you get a little bit of curve through the low back. I'd like for you to just squeeze the block. So you have that same connection to the inner thighs, or maybe even a little bit more this time. Keep dragging your heels towards your sitting bones and squeezing the block. And then as you exhale, you're going to keep squeezing the block. Scoop your low belly in, scoop your ribs back and round like cat back. And keep squeezing the block and keep rounding like cat back. And working here, you can rest your hands lightly on your thighs or underneath your thighs. Keep squeezing the block, and every exhale, scoop the low belly back, scoop the ribs back. Soften the jaw and the shoulders. So I'm starting to get a little trembly here. Really feel the knitting of the ribs towards each other and down for a few more breaths. Try to stay soft through the upper body. And one more. And then coming all the way up to sit. Cross your legs. So actually, if it's challenging for you to sit on the floor, you can go ahead and sit up on your padding. And then just take a nice easy twist to the right, looking over your right shoulder. And instead of using your arms to pull yourself into the twist, really feel this happening from your core. On your next inhale, unwind and twisting to your left. So using your hands for support, but all of the rotation is coming from the abdominal wall. And on your next breath in, unwind. Make your way onto your hands and knees. You can always use your padding for your knees as well. So curling the toes under, unlocking your elbows. Moving through a few rounds of cat and cow As you exhale, you're going to round into that cat back. Lift the pelvic floor, scoop your knees up off the floor, but lift your middle back higher than your pelvis, right? So as you lift up, you want to avoid lifting your bottom up and lift your mid back up. And then inhale, knees to the floor, broaden through the collarbones, lift your heart. Exhale, forcefully, pelvic floor lifts, push the floor away, lift your bottom ribs up, dome through the middle back. One more time, inhale. One more time, exhale. And then keep your knees hovering, but come to neutral spine. And then press back to downward facing dog. And then wave through to a plank pose, plank position. And then just like you did on your hands and knees, you're going to pull the bottom ribs up and scoop your tailbone under so you're rounding in that cat back here in plank pose. And then press back through the heels, melt your heart, and lift your gaze. Squeeze the hands and legs towards each other. Pull in, so you're squeezing to the midline. And then exhale, get long. And again, pulling in. And getting long. And one more time, pulling in. And then pike all the way back to downward facing dog. Step your right foot through to lunge. And then pull the legs towards each other here. So pull the feet in from front to back and pull your waistline in and up. So you're really emphasizing this doming of the middle back. And then push the legs apart, broaden through the collarbones and lift your heart. Let's do that 2 more times, pulling in. Getting long. And one last, pulling in and up. Dome so much, you can plant your hands into the floor and then zip your heel to your sitting bone. Pull the knee forward. Keep the back leg buoyant. Push the floor away. One more breath here. Use your whole inhale, step back, plank pose. Exhale, lower all the way down. Sweep your arms by your sides, point your toes. Inhale, lift your head, chest, arms, and legs. Squeeze your feet towards each other here. And as you squeeze your feet together, feel how the inner thighs light up. We need those muscles for crow pose. 2 more breaths. And lower down. Push back up to tabletop. Curl your toes under, press back downward facing dog. Nice breath in. Exhale, step your left foot through to lunge. Come to the fingertops. Squeeze the legs towards each other. Exhale, look into your waistline. Lift your belly up, lift your belly up, lift your belly up. And then push the feet apart. Broaden through the collarbones. Lift your chest. 2 more. Exhale, pulling in and up. Inhale, lengthen. One more time. And pulling in and up, plant your hands. From this lift of the bottom ribs, push down into the floor and then zip your heel to your sitting bone. Pull your knee forward. Pull your knee forward. Push the floor away. Push the floor away. Lift your bottom ribs up. 1 more breath. Slow inhale, step it back, plank. Exhale, lower all the way down. Reach the arms by your sides. 1 more time. Squeeze your legs together. One more breath here. And lower down. Go ahead and flip over onto your back. Now take your feet about mat's distance apart and let both knees fall to your side. Stay there, a breath. And then if you want, you can stack the legs. So it's a slightly deeper twist. 1 more breath here. And then slide your top foot back over to the corner of your mat, lift through center, and then make your way into the other side. So if this feels good for you, feel free to stay, or you can stack the legs if you did so on the other side. Head heavy, releasing any tension from the neck and shoulders. And then slide that foot back to the corner of your mat. Lift your legs through center. Draw the knees into your chest. Now, keeping the inner edges of your feet together, let your knees open up. Interlace your hands together behind your head. So sometimes when we do core work on the floor, the muscles of the neck start to take over. So you can remedy that by actively pressing your head back against your hands. And then from these muscles, you're going to lift the head and shoulders up. Now, if you start to feel the muscles in the neck take over and the muscles through the abdomen kind of turn off, you can always return one or both hands behind your head. Right now, on your next exhale, curl up a little higher. See if you can curl your tailbone up off the floor. Reach your hands. Your arms go inside your knees. Reach for the outer edges of your feet and then push your feet away from you. That might help you curl up higher. See how my tailbone is up off the floor here? That's perfectly all right. Push your feet forward. Now squeeze your legs into your arms and your arms are resisting your legs. Legs squeeze into the arms press back into the legs. Try to stay where you are, but let your feet go and then push towards your feet. Push towards your feet, moving not from the neck, right, but really from your core. So small, controlled movement. Squeeze your legs against your arms. The arms are resisting the legs, and as you exhale, you're pushing away from beyond your feet. Couple more. 2, 1, stay. Squeeze the legs in, and then lie back. Hold the backs of the thighs, and then start to rock lengthwise on your mat, using your core to control. And then find your balance here. Feet together, knees apart. Once again, take your elbows to the insides of your knees. Push your hands towards your feet. You're going to slide your knees towards your wrists. And then as you exhale, draw the ribs down, draw your belly in, pull your knees to your armpits, and push the air away. And we'll do that 4 more. 4, 3, 2, 1 more. 1. Take that block, that block between the upper inner thighs. And just balance here. Squeeze the block. Squeeze the block. Squeeze the block. If your hip flexors start to take over, lower your heels to the floor. Squeeze the block. Interlace the first 3 fingers and the thumb. Point towards your toes. Little twist. Come through center, twist to the other side. Stay squeezing into the block. Stay neutral through your pelvis. 1 more time to each side. So it does require a lot of work through the core. Lower your hands to the backs of your thighs. Roll all the way onto your back. All right, and then you can just circle the legs in one direction and the other. And hold the backs of the thighs and roll up to sit. Cross your legs, sit up nice and tall. And then this time, just a nice, easy seated forward bend. Walk the hands out. Keep walking the hands out. And start to bow down. So you want to get the hips a little bit more open. Walk your hands back, come on up to sit, simply switch the cross of your legs. And walk your hands back, come up to sit, and then make your way onto your hands and knees once again. Downward facing dog. So squeeze your legs together even here in down dog. Come to your tippy toes, bend your knees, walk, step, or hop up to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, bow in. Inhale, bend your knees, reach your arms overhead. And exhale, stand tall. So separate your feet, wider than your hips, wider than your mat. Bend your knees, take your elbows to the insides of your knees and come down to a squat. Now, push your feet into the floor, lift slightly up out of your squat, press your arms against your legs, and then pull your legs back against your arms. Keep weight through the outer heel, so you want the pinky toe edge of the foot grounded as much as the big toe edge of the foot, but you're doing this hugging in action. Draw the ribs back, but lift your chest up. Press your fingertips together So you want to stay light in the heel of your hand and really work your fingertips. It's going to charge the muscles up through the forearms a little bit more. A couple more breaths here. And then press down through your feet. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, step your feet together. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, fold. Heart leads the way, hinge from your hips. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, step back and lower chaturanga. Inhale, come up for air. Squeeze your legs towards each other as you exhale into downward facing dog. Step your left foot through. Plant your back foot flat. And then walk both arms inside your front leg. Now, your block might come in handy here. You can take your forearms down to your block. So press evenly from the inner to the outer edge of the foot, but then just like you did a moment ago in the squat, you're going to press your arm and leg against each other. Right, now the forearms are going to push down and away, and the ribs are going to draw up. Sorry, little costume glitches here. Good. Pull your feet towards each other. Press the forearms down and away, pull the bottom ribs up. Hug the leg against the arm. Couple more breaths here. Great, and then let that go. Lift your back heel. Exhale, find core plank. Pull forward, lift your waistline, push your hands into the floor. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale, pike back to downward facing dog. Step your other foot through. Pivot the back foot down. Place your block. Come inside that front leg, lower down. Press evenly through the front foot, press evenly through the back foot. Hug the legs towards each other, dome through the middle back, and press the forearms down and away. And then inhale, pivot onto the ball of the back foot. Exhale, core plank. All right, so remember to find that doming. Zip your heel to your sitting bone, pull forward. Use your whole breath in, step back, plank pose. Exhale, pike back to downward facing dog. Big breath in. And exhale, walk your hands all the way back to your feet. Bend your knees a lot, and then slide your hands all the way under. So we'll just do a little counter pose for the wrists before we do more weight bearing. Bend the elbows out to the sides, draw the shoulder blades up the back. One more breath. And bend your knees, release your hands, and come up to stand. So take your block into the center of your mat at its lowest level, and then take your blanket kind of out in front of you. Right, so you're gonna step your feet up onto the block and then crouch down low, right? Feet will be together, knees will come apart so you can snuggle your upper body down in between your legs. Bring your hands to the floor. Now the blanket is here, so should you face plant, bonk, right? It's a lot softer than the floor. Right. So having the block underneath your feet just stacks the deck in your favor. Now squeeze all that inner thigh work we did. Squeeze the legs against the arms. Lean forward. Maybe you can point your right toes, lift them off the block, and then switch. Now you can find your balance, so there definitely is counterbalance here, but then you need to pull the ribs up, push the floor down, and squeeze the legs against the arms. And then lower down, take a breath, and then try for round two. Maybe you want to try it off the block. Feet together. Start by lifting your bottom just a little bit. Lift your heels, split your knees, plant your hands, squeeze the legs in. As you tip your weight forward, pull the belly in and up, push the floor away, and dome your middle back to the sky. Get your booty out of the no-fly zone. Booty down, bottom ribs up. Squeeze in and rest. Good work. So if you do that a lot, you'll get it. Go ahead and have a seat. Bring your hands to the floor behind you. Press into the thumbs and forefingers, squeeze them towards each other. Come to upward facing table. Just taking a minute time to neutralize and counter pose. One more breath. Have a seat. And up and this way, you can sway the legs from side to side. And then make your way down onto your back. Knees bent, feet to the floor. Press into your feet and lift up for bridge pose. So some nice neutralizing, really gentle back bends to extend through the front of the body. Lower all the way down. So you can do a little bit of wrist therapy. You're going to extend your arms up to the sky and then fold your hands, your palms face in, and then back to center, and do that a couple more times. And then next time the palms face each other, squeeze your hands into fists. Squeeze as hard as you can and then open. And again, squeeze and open. Now do that as fast as you can for 10 seconds and really find that squeeze. 6, 5, do you feel your forearms working yet? 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then lengthen the right leg and reach up through the right arm and just stretch the arm and leg apart. And release. And second side, lengthen the left leg long, the left arm up, and stretch. And release. Make your way onto your side. Come to any seated posture of your choice. And then reach your right arm over ear. Nice big side stretch. And sweep that arm around. Come up through center. Make your way into the second side. Anchoring that sitting bone into the floor. Lengthening through the side body. And sweeping that arm around. Inhale, reach both arms out, up and overhead. Exhale, hands together in front of the heart. You can release your hands down onto your lap. Sit quietly for a few moments. Or make your way down onto your back for a relaxation pose. Take the time to notice the effects of your practice. Letting go of the effort. Just letting go. Feel the weight of the arms and legs, and the weight of your spine. Soften your face. Soften your belly. Feel free to linger here for as long as you'd like. And take a deeper breath in. And one at a time, bend your knees, ground your feet. And wiggle the fingers. Make your way onto your side. And up to sit. That's it for today. Thank you so much for practicing. I hope you enjoyed your crow pose. Namaste.